Welcome to the Snowboard Project, version 3.0. I am the computer. Enter your request. Opening podcast directory. You have chosen Real Talk. I will connect to you now.
Welcome back to Season 3 of Real Talk. And man, this is going to be quite the show. I'm Mark Sullivan. I'm here in a remote cabin in Alaska. We're off the grid, but you know what? That's not going to stop us because we have a special in store for you today. So right now, though, on the mixing board, we got Dustin. Dustin is producing and handling some business development this season, and helping us put together our video formats as well as all the audio shows. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I want to introduce our new co-hosts for Real Talk, and this is really exciting. First up, we got Bjorn Leines, and Bjorn, I mean, a legend, rider of the year. I believe it was 2000, maybe 2001. The memory is a little bit foggy, but certainly having Bjorn, a legend, on the show is pretty cool to have his perspective and experience reflect on the sport of snowboarding. The same can be said for Chad Otterstrom. Chad Otterstrom is probably my favorite rider. He shows guys like me that you'd never have to give up doing tricks, pushing your progression. He still is at it today. So, welcome to the show, Chad and Bjorn.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Man, this is going to be fun. We got a pretty exciting show today. I can kind of do a little rundown of what we have coming up. So on today's show, we're going to be talking about the movies and teasers. We have some resort news. Also, we have some just general news, from the world of snowboarding. And actually, in these COVID times, not a lot of new news breaking. However, we'll cover at least what we saw here in the last couple of weeks. We also have some new product news to talk about. And then we also have some news from the Snowboard Project ourselves. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll go into a deep dive conversation, cutting a little bit deeper on one subject matter. And then we'll finish out the show with our clip show. And the clip show is basically where we review Instagram clips together and talk about some of the coolest clips that we saw on Instagram this week. So that's what we have in store for you on our first episode of Real Talk. So guys, let's start out with the movies and the teasers that came out. And so first up we have Tangle. And Tangle is like a new movie. There's only a handful really to talk about right now, but Tangle's the new Ted Borland movie. It's going to have it's going to have DESIREE, MELANCON, Jill Perkins, NIRVANA, ORTANEZ, as well as, BODE, MERRILL, and Phil Hansen, and Jeff HOLCE, Denver Orr, and Dylan OKUROWSKI. I'm probably butchering that.
OKUROWSKI. He's like a Veil kid, I think.
A Veil kid. So have you guys heard anything about that one?
Yeah, check out.
One at a time, guys. Raise your hands and I'll call on you. Just kidding.
Minnesota nice here.
I'll go. All right, we're already blowing it right away. So I'm going. Here we go. I think it's a snowboarder movie. Ted Borland has been making, movies for snowboarders, it seems like, and I do know Bode's obviously an amazing snowboarder to watch. The girls in that movie are going to be next level, and Denver, Jeff, and Dylan I haven't seen a lot of, but I know that they do really awesome, cool new stuff. So I'm pretty excited to see that.
How about you, Bjorn? Anything?
Yeah, same. To me, it looked like they had a lot of fun together. It's kind of like, I feel like Ted's really settled into his groove at producing movies. And it's cool because, he's so connected with, he can do most of the tricks that most everyone besides Bode. Bode's on a whole nother level they're doing for the most part. But yeah, and I think like Jill Perkins and DESIREE, those chicks together, they're going to crush. So I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that'll be one definitely to watch. I also saw
Phil Hansen too.
Yep.
Sorry, we didn't mention Phil Hansen.
Don't forget Phil.
He's on that list. You don't want to leave that guy out.
So I'm not sure exactly. We're in teaser phase right now. So we'll see when the actual movie drops. I'm not sure if they've announced the date of release yet, but certainly that's coming down the pipeline. They released the teaser this week. Then we have El Sueno. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I watched the teaser for that, and that actually looked like a lot of fun. Some street, some backcountry, kind of a nice mix of kind of fun clips. I like it when they have crashes. It shows the thrill of victory, agony of defeat. Did either of you guys see that teaser?
Yeah, I checked it out. It looked like they spent a lot of time in Japan, which is usually filled with lots of POW and some cool street spots and stuff. But I'm a big fan of Erik Leone and just his style, and he's a down-to-earth, chill dude, and lets his snowboarding speak for himself. So
certainly.
Yeah, I didn't watch it at all, honestly, but I do like watching Erik Leone. I haven't really watched Kyle Schafer ride at all, but I mean, now that we only have a couple movies out this year, I guarantee I'll watch all of them. So.
Right.
Erik Leone rules. He's been around for the last, decade or so doing cool things.
So we'll get into that more in a second. But here's a movie actually that I haven't seen the teaser yet, but I am in anticipation because I had to do a little bit of a deep dive to figure out what it was called. Channel Zero from Absinthe. And so I'm not sure exactly what that's going to feature because we haven't seen a teaser yet. But I always like watching the Absinthe films. They seem to have a variety of everything from street to Alaska. So it seems like they have a pretty ideal mix.
yeah, on that note, on the Absinthe flick, I reached out to Shane Charlebois, who's the editor and kind of lead guy there. Oh, the text message is coming through right now. He says he's got some highlights of Nils and Hans winters, and they crushed wherever. And he's got Vole's Dam. It's been 20 years since he wrote it. I don't know. You guys remember that big dam that he just went ham on, some airs, big laybacks and stuff? Mm-hmm. Holy
edgy again.
Right? What else do we have? I don't know. We're going to be getting some of the inside tips before that teaser comes out a little bit more, Shane says. So wait on that. But he's in the editing pain cave right now, just trying to survive the edit.
Okay, cool. So, well, I'm looking forward to that one. I always loved the Absinthe movies and know those guys, so I'm sure it will deliver 100%. Once again. So then we also have the Scandalnavians. I think we've been waiting 2 years for this one. I just want to see what the Scanners have been up to. And they actually put out something called the Ruka Odyssey that they filmed this summer. That's on Vimeo right now. Vimeo. I don't even know how to say it still. Whatever.
YouTube.
Yeah. And then we got the Burton movie. Do you guys know anything about the Burton movie? What's up with that? One World.
I don't know anything about it. I know that they were making a movie with a bunch of people. I talked to Alex Andrews last winter, I think it was, during the U.S. Open, saying that he's been going out with a bunch of people. Maybe that was even the year before. I don't even know. But, he's kind of head of the show there and doing stuff with them, I think.
Yeah, Alex, major hype man, from what I heard. Getting the boys hyped, being integral in the project. But I heard a little tidbits from Danny Davis the other day. Just that it was just gnarly going out with Mark McMorris and Brock and Red and those guys. I mean, I'm sure their roster and their team, they're going to put out a hammer flick.
Yeah,
no doubt.
And then the other movie that just actually premiered, it was an online premiere, but it was Purple Mountains, which is kind of the new Jeremy Jones Protect Our Winter project. Did you guys see that one or hear about that at all?
I did. I just watched the teaser. I didn't watch the whole movie, but sounds like he just goes in and goes to the other side and just tries to make friends with people and connect. But I'm not exactly sure what it's all about. I want to see the snowboarding. I'm sure. Hopefully he broke some barriers with the movie. Is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's trying to say that snowboarding isn't political or climate change is not political, right? That's kind of, I think, the gist of it. Something like that, anyway.
I mean, I saw the teaser kind of same as Chad, but Jeremy's always kind of on the pulse, moving in that direction. He's really carrying the flag for us snowboarders, and has a big voice, so it'd be cool to digest the whole thing.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that before we get off of movies here, we should talk about Chris Larson. There was a tribute movie that came out from Chris Larson. I don't know. Do you want to say anything about that, Bjorn?
Yeah, I thought that was super cool. You know, it was like a pretty lengthy, like 12 to 15 minutes. Like when I first saw the time frame on it, and I was like, man, I was really just kind of moved by some of the tricks that hadn't resonated with me before. That he had put down some serious innovative tricks, and you know, anytime you lose someone in the snowboarding community, that, you know, in a tragedy like that, it's just you watch their footage and it's like, man, that leaves a mark on you even if you didn't know him very well. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't necessarily know Chris, our paths had crossed and stuff, but I can imagine what, you know, the Think Tank guys and the, you know, this lifelong friends had gone through. I mean, I don't know if Chad, if you were very close with Chris, but, you know, all my experiences, he was an awesome guy, and it was really cool to see that footage come out.
Yeah, I didn't really know him at all, but I mean, cheers to Jesse for making it, like, you know, and you know, pushing him through snowboarding forever. But, you know, I guess we've all lost friends like that, and it's a tough time. But yeah, I don't even know what to say. It's like a hard one for sure. But
Yeah.
Respect to Jesse for putting that out, and, you know, giving him a good kick at the end there.
Yeah, man, there's been too much tragedy in the small world of snowboarding, and so it's really sad that, you know, that we have to make tribute movies, you know, like that. So, but, you know, one other thing that I saw this week was Our Social Dilemma. If you guys haven't seen that one yet, I thought that was really interesting. Has nothing to do with snowboarding. It's just about the impact of, like, social media and artificial intelligence on our lives and also on politics. So if you haven't seen that, I would recommend it anyway. I thought that was really enlightening, let's just say. So anyhow, that's enough about the movies. I think we should go on to our resort news, because I think that, you know, I think really what's on a lot of people's mind is like opening day and going riding again. And you know what? When I think of opening day, there's one guy I think about more than any other. That's Nate Dogg 4G.
Yep, he's right probably 300 feet from me in another condo down the way. He's preparing himself. He's already emailed both resorts, just kind of letting them know that it's year 25. He's going to be getting first chair. Mm-hmm. And as kooky as it is, I think it's pretty amazing. He kind of sets the tone for the season. First chair opening, riding chairlifts, and being able to make turns without thinking is, you know, it's kind of the opening of the season when Nate Dogg gets first chair. And Lovin and A-Basin have both expressed that they're going to be competing for first chair this year. We'll see what they do and how they do it. And that's obviously, I think the earliest they've opened is October 4th. So that's really like very close, maybe 2 weeks away.
Right. So
from White Ribbons of Death here in Colorado. We usually win first resort opening because we're so high. But then a couple weeks later, somebody else in the East Coast or somewhere else will open. But
yeah,
opening day is coming up.
Yeah, you guys legalize weed first, so you guys are the most high for sure. But let me ask you this though: Did
we're usually really high, so we just like screw it. There's a little bit of smell that's just open.
Right, but like seriously though, like for 25 years to make first chair, did he have to start showing up earlier and earlier as the consecutive years went on, where people are like, 12 years, we're gonna beat him this time, and so he had to show up earlier? Like now is he
no, this is a whole social media thing. Since social media came out, it got harder and harder and harder because, well, it didn't really. It's just because the resort wouldn't claim they're going to open, and once they claim they would open, you have to gun it straight to the resort. Like,
right.
So that's why we have the 4G network, and there's 4 of us: Trailer Tom, Jeff Meyer, myself, and Nate. And once we hear it, you know, it's usually one of us working, so we can't go, but one of us goes and locks down the chair, and usually it's Nate, but. So now
how early do you have to get there? Sorry.
Well, it depends, because usually they don't. Now they've gotten really good with marketing, so they're not going to open unless it's a Friday. So they're not going to open on a Wednesday. You know what I mean? So they'll meet if they announce on Monday that they're opening. It kind of sucks because you got to go there Monday and sit there for 4 days. But if they announce on a Wednesday, this is some serious intel I'm letting go out right now, which might not be good. But if they announce on a Wednesday, then you only get to spend 2 days as opposed to 4 days. But those guys have spent like 8 days in the lot, like back in the day, for no reason, just like because they had nothing else to do. But like,
God, it's insane. Love it.
Yeah, but now it's normally like a 4 to, up to 4 days. Like if they announce on Monday, it sucks, but you got to go there Monday night, but you can go. Like say you're at Loveland ski area, you can go down to like Georgetown. You switch off on hanging out, and the resorts don't want you to hang out by the chair, so they're like, all right, go in the lot, we'll make sure you have first chair. And then you always have poachers coming in, and that's kind of what makes it entertaining, is like someone will roll up after you've already had it claimed, and they're like, I got it, and then you spend like 12 hours with them, and then like management kicks them out. Like They get pissed off and hate you, and it's all good though.
So how are you guys going to handle
the entertainment of it?
How are you guys going to handle this in COVID times? If you can only have like 2 people on a 4-pack chair, how does your 4-pack, the 4 Gs, so to speak, make first chair together?
Well, 4G network, I mean, it's probably not going to happen. It's going to be like back down to 2G network. Like we're going to go back, like, to what the 5Gers really wanted to stay at. We don't want to get past 2Gs or things will get out of control.
Right. I see.
I don't even know. I'm just talking shit.
You need some spacesuits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're going to find out in the next 2 weeks, and it'll be entertaining. I mean, all the pressure's on Nate Dogg. It's his 25th year. We're just there for support. We're the network, If we just get one person on, that's Nate Dogg. That's all that matters. But Either way, it's opening of the season, which is good because you can go shred and forget about everything else, hopefully.
Hopefully. I mean, that's the plan for this year, is to put 2020 out of your mind once you start turning left and right and hit some airs, right? So we won't be thinking about all the other crap that's been going on once we're actually riding. So, and by the way, it's like, I would say that like resorts are now releasing their plans. I know Vail Resorts and Alterra have released their plans, and we'll get into this in a minute here, but depending on what your local hill is, you should definitely bookmark all the websites that you want. Just saying that plans will be different depending on if you're a part of a big resort network or if you are like for a mom and pop resort. And I would say the mom and pop resorts are just going to be following essentially like the state guidelines. Every state, all 50 states, have different COVID guidelines, and so the resort guidelines will be dictated kind of by the policies of the state. So you can expect to bookmark though every page and have that thing on quick pull up, basically.
Yeah, I bought my pass yesterday, and I got a discount because it got cut off last year. But it sounds like we have to reserve up to 7 days in advance. So I'm hoping I can just click those 7 days for the week and then just ride every day I want. And then, I never ride Saturdays and Sundays anyways, and it sounds like those are the only days they think it's going to fill up. So. We'll see.
Are you talking at Breckenridge? That's where you got your
the Vail Resorts Pass.
Gotcha.
The busiest ski resort in North America.
Dude,
besides Whistler.
When it opens up in the first week and you're riding down those, I mean, better than anybody, but it's like dodgeball. You're just, you're trying to do a turn here and there and then get a butter in, and you're so hyped. Then you got 8 ski patrol telling everybody to slow down all the time, and you're I just want to ollie this thing and dodgeball these guys over here.
This thing doesn't have brakes.
You can't even hit the side hits anymore, like those little side hits that get run out. You get yelled at for hitting those now. They're like, no aerials on the hill. So
no aerials. Love it.
Yeah, aerial maneuvers.
No inverts. Don't get inverted.
It's pretty awesome. It still happens around here just because there's just not enough room for them all.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, did you hear about this, Chad? There's a new resort in Colorado this year, and it features no lifts. That's the big feature of the resort, no lift ski area, right? So what does that mean? That means you're going to have to split board yourself up. This is called the Bluebird. I believe it's called Bluebird Resort. It's in Colorado. It's about a half hour from Steamboat, half hour from Kremling on Rabbit Ears Pass, or near there anyway. What do you know about this place, Chad?
I mean, you guys sent me a link to something about Silverton or something, but I heard about this place through one of my splitboard friends, and it's like a guided resort. It's a splitboard skimo resort where you go, you can have all the gear, you can rent that, and then you can do Abbey classes, or you can just do whatever you want, and then you can park your granola mobile, which is like a sprinter. That's what I call them.
Yep.
In the lot for like $25 a night, and there's the little yurt. I don't really even know too much about it, but it sounds like it's a backcountry resort. It's one of the first of its kind, I think, where they're offering rentals of backcountry gear and guiding, or you can go on your own type of a scenario.
It looks pretty epic from what I saw. Speaking of social dilemma, ever since we brought this up the other day, now it's been just right through my feed on Instagram, So I've checked out the whole resort, and it's, guided or non-guided tours. It looks pretty affordable. Like the early season pass was somewhere around $299 to like $500 and some bucks. And it gets you like some free parking in the lot and some buddy passes for your friends, like discounts on that stuff. But I think it's genius. We drove through that area right off of 40 in Steamboat last year, going to SIA to the trade show, and you could kind of see some really cool. We were all geeking out, looking out the window at the terrain because it looked like there's some really good, splitboarding and backcountry terrain. So I like the business model.
Yeah, it's cool. It's almost like a climbing gym in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you come, bring your own gear, or they can show you how to climb the wall, but it's just you're a little more on your own, it seems like. And basically, it seems like they just have to permit out the area, and they can, zone their own scene, and kind of like what Silverton does, basically without a lift. You know what I mean? And it's kind of getting more people into splitboarding and hiking around instead of just feeling like they need a chairlift to do anything with their lives.
Yeah, and I would say this season we're kind of expecting more people to get into splitboarding, so maybe that's an ideal way for people to kind of have like that first baby step into splitboarding where they have patrol there, and if they do get into trouble, maybe there's people there to help get them out of trouble versus like a straight up backcountry mission for your first splitboarding trip.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's, getting people educated and giving them kind of that entry base, especially, with the gear. I mean, let's face it, it's a big investment to get all of your splitboarding stuff, and then it's time to learn how to use it and, have the right network and stuff. So I think this would be really healthy for the sport in general. It would be cool to see this sort of thing kind of pop up all around, kind of more of this idea of you don't necessarily need a chairlift, but let's have an environment where you can, learn about stuff and still get as gnarly as you want or not, or yeah.
I think that, we'll wait and see what happens, but it sounds like it's a new and pretty interesting concept. So that'll be pretty cool. The other thing that I saw that came across my radar just recently was the Global Revival Snowboard Project. And so that's this guy, Jake Aronson in Wenatchee. And basically what he's trying to do is create kind of like a hike park and then maybe get a rope tow there, but basically to try to get the community involved. And so, I've known Jake for a little while. He's an amazing rider, but something really interesting is that like a lot of the areas around there, they don't really serve their local community. A lot of the people who go to like Mission Ridge, for instance, like come from Seattle or other places, and there aren't a lot of kids from the Wenatchee area who go there. And so he's trying to, create kind of a gateway to resort riding or for kids to get involved with snowboarding and really improve that. And I thought that was a really neat idea to just try to get more kids involved with the scene and create a local scene for the riders. And so, he's got an Instagram page. I think he's doing maybe a Kickstarter to get things going. And I know people are donating gear to him to help get kids in his local community out there. So I thought that was a pretty cool new idea as well.
It's all for the kids, man. Let's get them childrens on some snowboards.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Get them side slipping when they're 2.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I always thought about it like this is a whole idea too. I was thinking like, how they have playgrounds, and you could out at every single town everywhere, you could just put a little mini plastic mountain up there that drops into boxes and rails and little stairways that go up the little plastic mountain. Kids are dropping in at every park around, the United States that it has snow. And you could kind of fabricate it to be installed at every single park around the country. And that's kind of what this is. You don't even really need a tow rope. You just need a little stairway that goes up a little side hill, and kids can go shred immediately.
That's right.
Here, they have that going on actually here at Woodward Park City at the new spot, which is really cool. But I think you're absolutely right. I mean, they could do that whether you had a hill or not. You know, just make a little 20-foot tall hill in the playground, and just like sled hills, right? Like I know where we grew up in Minnesota, there'd be like little hills in kind of every town. And if there wasn't a hill, they would kind of push up a sled hill, and then kids would just be up there sledding, and a lot of people learn how to snowboard that way, right?
Yeah. So basically, yeah, it's like you could fabricate, every single town could pay for it like they pay for skate parks, and they just install it in their local playground or rec center, and they're shredding.
Yep. You know, in general news, I guess we got a couple things as well beyond the resorts. Did you guys see the new Snowboarder mag that came out? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I just got it today.
Cool. So
I got it.
Good. It's awesome.
Tell us what gives.
Yeah. What's up? I haven't seen the whole thing, just some online.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've only seen the online version.
I haven't read it yet. I just went to the shop in my town and picked it up because I went in 3 days ago. They're like, it's not here yet, and then yesterday it showed up, and then I went and got it today. But it's good. It's just like, it's with everything going on, they definitely did a really good job of making their first magazine deal with everything. But like I said, I haven't read everything. I just know Russell, and I've shredded with Russell, and he's on the cover, so I'm like, this is going to be awesome. He's really, he's an amazing shit talker in a good way, so it's going to be good. When I got a chance to read the Trevor Andrews interview Kier Dillon, which was really cool because, obviously those are old school homies that, we hung out with and were real influencers in the game. And so Kier, he got to kind of tell his story a bit, and it was just rad, man. I thought that Trevor did a really good job on the interview, and, Kier had some, really positive things to say, like just basically about, manifesting, like snowboarding is kind of like a vehicle that you can manifest what you want in life out of it. If you it's like an open book, right? Like whether it's a trick or, how far you want to push yourself, it's kind of up to you. And that really resonated with me, just their interview and stuff. So, but I'm excited to see the rest of the mag. I saw Milo just got it in, so have to head down and pick it up at the local shop.
Nice. Well, I'm in Alaska. I guess I could go to Blue and Gold, but that's like a 5-hour drive from where I'm at, so I'm going to rely on the digital version from now. But I know a lot of those guys in the mag, so I'm looking forward to checking it out, and hopefully they put some of more of those stories online. So, yeah. But now here is something that might resonate with you guys. You might have an opinion. This might be controversial. We might have to cut this out. Who knows? But Nicolas Mueller, right? He got dropped by his sponsors, basically. Now, I can kind of set the stage here, which is like, so basically, as we were going through all this COVID times in the summertime, he started posting these things, and it was like kind of like what people would consider conspiracy theory or whatever. But either way, I think that some people were either disappointed or whatever. And it ended up becoming a real controversy. And so basically he ended up getting dropped by GNU and 32 and Oakley all within the course of a couple weeks over the summer. And yeah, man, I just thought it was really heavy because to me, Nicolas Mueller is one of the best riders ever to strap in, and to have his like life or long-term sponsors anyway kind of drop him over something that was political was kind of strange to me. I was wondering, because you guys have both been riding kind of like in that whole era. I mean, you guys probably became pro around the same time he became pro, or maybe even slightly before him. But I would imagine you guys would have some kind of perspective on that.
Kind of like you, Bjorn, but without the street rails. He just kind of did the free riding stuff. But definitely like an amazing half-pipe rider, and he could do whatever he wanted. basically. But I mean, I don't really have an opinion on what he was talking about or anything like that because I haven't really dove into that, so I don't really want to say. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy to see kind of the modern day GOAT, you know, of freeriding right now, kind of like an apprentice of Terrier, to just kind of fall off the map like that, like literally at the top of his game. And then, you know, I don't know what Gnu was thinking. I don't know what Oakley was thinking. I don't know what 32 was thinking. I don't know what Nicolas was thinking. Like I said, I didn't dive into it, but it's probably one of the bigger stories in snowboarding this last winter and coming up this winter. And I'm sure Snowboarder is going to do something on it. It is crazy that the greatest of all time freerider, or modern one anyways, you know, to just in a couple months just be gone from getting paid. So he's got a castle in Locks, I think, or something like that. So hopefully he saved some of his ducats. They cost me out. I don't know. I don't want to get too involved in serious with the political side of it. That's where I'm at with it.
Right.
I think that maybe there was a line crossed where the brands thought he was attacking, you know, Black lives in some way. But if anybody that truly knows Nicolas knows he has a huge heart, he is the furthest from being a racist or anything like that, right? And so, you know, it turned really political. And I don't know if these brands, you know, were looking for an excuse, because to me, it really felt like a lot of big entities, you know, not just these brands, but they really took a stance and rallied in a way that if you weren't on their side, you're against them. Or if you didn't tote their line, I guess would be the way to put it, you're like against the message or something. And so I don't know, man, it was very, very strange. I was caught off guard when I saw it, and I kind of disappointed a little bit by how it's been covered within our snowboarding media. And I'm hoping to see like the whole thing come out, you know, from like Nicolas's side and everything. Cause, you know, we shouldn't be abandoning the people that have really helped build this sport over something that we don't even necessarily know what happened 100%, why, who was so offended or what the reason was. You know, it's just all really odd, and I hope more things come to light about it, and I hope people can rally around Nicolas in general, that he is a great human. So
yeah. I kind of want to add on that, like what you said. It's like, if anybody's ever snowboarded with Nicolas or known Nicolas, he's probably, you know, he's the farthest thing from, you know, a racist or anything. I don't even know what happened, but he's a good dude. Like, so as far as snowboarders who know him, I can guarantee you 100% of them are backing him. So that's why it's a crazy thing that he just went south and all of his sponsors. So like we were saying, the truth's going to come out.
Right. I mean, I've heard a rumor that, like,
was there,
you know,
one more thing to add. Was it kind of a scapegoat, you know, for, I know, you know, being a big time rider, kind of the marquee guy on a lot of these brands, and for a very long term, was it like, you know, kind of like a little like, oh, get that off the payroll right now and move on. And now
here's the thing, guys. Here's the
cut
thing.
the budget.
So
people, I have no idea. It would be cool to hear from these brands. That, you know.
Okay, guys, here's what the rumor mill has been saying. The rumor mill has been saying that, you know, there are some major distributors in Europe, places that are equivalent to, say, backcountry here in North America. And when he went on the record saying these things that were political in nature, that they basically felt like it was going to affect their orders, right, or their ability to sell. And so those, from what I understand, those people approached basically the brands and said, hey, this is not cool. And so the brands actually didn't just fire him. They actually tried to talk to Nicolas, and he doubled down again. Anyhow, I hope the truth does come out. I hope he does an interview with us or with somebody else, because I would like to hear kind of the 411 on really what happened. I think there's a lot of speculation right now. There's a lot of people talking, but I haven't heard Nicolas really kind of defend himself or have, you know, really kind of the full picture painted by anybody yet. Anyhow, let's go on to product news. Let's go into something a little lighter. Like, for instance, the GoPro 9. Huh, Chad? Tell me about the GoPro 9. You're a GoPro guy.
Well, this is great. I don't have one yet because I'm on the B team, maybe the C team, maybe the D team. But they got a new interchangeable lens that gives you the super view, which is what I like because that basically gives you the GoPro 360 view. But whatever, it just makes your frame of view a lot wider, which is awesome. And it has horizon leveler, which is really awesome, which is something that it's basically like a gimbal built in the camera, which the GoPro 8 didn't have. So I don't know what the gimbal god is going to do, if he's going to change his name or just kind of go with it. But he doesn't need a gimbal anymore. I guess it is a gimbal built in the camera. And then, they upgraded all the resolutions and things like that. But the newest stuff is horizon leveler and you can interchange that lens to a super wide angle lens, which is going to be interesting. And there's a screen on both sides, so your selfies you can get perfectly when you're just going to take a picture of yourself in front of something cool. I don't know.
All the important features like Selfie Master.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, they have webcam too, so we might be able to plug that into our computer now and be GoPro 9 on the webcam.
I think we should
in
get on
the
that
Snowboard Project
guys.
in the future.
I mean, Bjorn, if we look at your shot's a little foggy compared to 4K, just saying. And we could definitely get 4K pulled in. What?
That's
what?
true.
What did I say?
I've got the GoPro 1 through 7. So I just got a Max, and I need to get on the 9, it sounds like. But, Chad, you should be on the A team, dude. You put out more GoPro footage than anybody on GoPro. If anybody from GoPro is listening to this, Chad is an A team worthy.
In my mind, for sure.
Thank you.
For sure.
I'm working on it.
I would say
just got to jump bigger cliffs and do bigger tricks and have more of a following, but it's all good. You never want to be on the A team. We always talk about that with Academy. We always want to be in 4th place because then, you never really have to be on the podium, but you're always making it. Like, just to talk about Mason Aguirre, like you win one every once in a while, but then you hang out in 4th place and chill, and seems to go well.
And nobody's expecting too much out of you. So like, if you do win, you're good. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. You get on the podium and you're like, oh, everybody's like, oh, you're like, no. But if you're on 4th place and you do a tour, you're gonna come out really good. So, B team, C team for life. But I hear you. It would be great to be on an A team again. Like when you were on the Forum 8, like that was the team that killed snowboarding. In a good way. Like you're never gonna have a team better than that. So. Yeah. That's the scene.
That was pretty cool. But now Bjorn is on Cardiff. And so I wanted to ask you guys, like, Bjorn, any new news and product for Cardiff this year? What kind of things are you getting excited about? Because I know you wear a number of different hats in the industry, including working with Cardiff Snowcraft. So, like, what's the big news?
The big news, man. Well, we've got some good innovations. We improved overall across our line. We've got urethane sidewalls on the split boards, which really helps with the dampening and stuff, especially we had urethane on the enduro builds. We build them in 2 cores, enduro and carbon. And so the carbon builds now with the enduro, with the urethane sidewalls really helps dampen it out. We've also got a bunch more sizes. So I upsized this season. I'm running a 166 on my split board. And then usually a 62 in the resort, just because I want a little more float.
Well, go to cardiffsnow.com to check out those boards. Chad, you're also involved with the snowboard industry now. You are one of the owners of Academy Snowboards. So tell me, what is in the new news for Academy?
The new news is we are shipped and our boards are out the door, so they're all for sale, which is good news. We were able to have production done pretty early, which was awesome. And having it in our backyard, I think mid-August, I went out to Tahoe and we shipped our boards all around the United States. And that's done. But as far as new news and products, we the only new thing that we have this year, besides we basically make cost-effective, quality, durable snowboards. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, just understandable shapes and profiles. But we did mid-wides in the Chris Roach this year, which we didn't do last year because we we just put that out kind of late. So he had 3 boards in his line last year, which is a 57 or 55, 57 and a 61. And this year he has a 59 and a 62 mid-wide. So he's got mid-wides on his board, which is more of a directional shape. Okay. And yeah, but right now just kind of focusing on making simple, understandable shapes and profiles, and nothing too out of control. And we make them at Never Summer, so we're able to control things that way, just being in our backyard.
So let me ask you this: like, Never Summer is about to introduce their first camber board. Well, since their rocker camber profile came out, how does that make you feel? Because Academy was the only camber board made at Never Summer for a minute there.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see how it goes. I think they've had a lot of pressure to do that for a while, and they, their boards are a little less cost effective than ours are. So we'll see how it goes, and they're gonna try it out. I'm interested to check it out. I haven't seen it yet.
Cool. Well, moving on, we also have some news for the Snowboard Project. So just wanted to kind of announce some of our new shows. Obviously, you're watching Real Talk or listening to Real Talk right now. We're developing our YouTube channel. We have a bunch of live streaming technology that we have been working on way too many hours. But anyhow, we're figuring it out. I think we may have figured it out. We will see. But certainly Real Talk, we are planning on doing with video as well as audio. Also, we have our profiles, our interview episodes. We're going to do less of those this year because there's a lot of people doing interviews now. I don't feel like we have to, it's like, I don't think I have to do interviews if everyone else is doing them. So anyhow, we're going to try to do a little bit different approach to that. We're going to try to hit up people who have really kind of deep cutting stories, that kind of thing. So you can expect the Real Talk and the profiles to return. But then we have a bunch of new shows coming out. And that is really, our reaction to like these COVID times. And so, the first one is the Hamburg Meat Grinder, and that's Willie McMillan and Andrew Hardingham, kind of an entertainment show, interviews and stuff. I think we're going to be doing video for that as well. And then beyond that, we really have some shows that are dedicated for like these COVID times, I would say. So first you got Lift Ticket, and that is about resort riding in COVID times. Basically, we are covering, kind of like what's happened like over the summer, what the plans are moving forward, and how you're going to have to approach riding this season at your local resort or go on trips or vacations. And so I'm doing that with Christian Knapp. And Christian Knapp, he was the marketing guy at Keystone, Breckenridge, and was most recently the CMO of Aspen. So anyhow, he's got a great perspective. He created the Mountain Collective Pass. So we're talking to people all over the world. The first episode of that will drop this Thursday. And we have actually some really great interviews in that one, just getting a new perspective on like resort riding in COVID times. Then we have the Go Snowboarding podcast. And so that is something different, which is like DIY snowboarding. And so the co-hosts on that are going to be Mike Arts, who was a Burton team manager and also does marketing for Airstream, has a fabrication shop, and has a big hill in his yard that he's been slowly transforming into like a little kind of park. And then you have Jeff Pensiero, who does the Baldface Lodge, and of course Mike Bassich. And Mike Bassich has his own ski lift, his own basically private ski area. And so those are going to be the co-hosts. We're going to bring in other people. We have people already developing rope tows. We're going to be building rails and just talking about how you can empower yourself to go out there and do it. I mean, I know you, Bjorn, you have a backyard park, don't you?
Yes, sir. We got a little setup here. We've been evolving over the seasons with the kids.
Right. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting because right when we started talking to people about the Go Snowboarding thing, I really realized just how powerful of a concept it was and how much demand there is by people out there to just make sure they can go riding this year, essentially. So I think that'll be a good show. And then we have...
Yeah, you know what?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, ultimately, your backyard shred stuff, the DIY, I mean, it's kind of like you're in control of your own environment. You don't have to go to the mountain. You don't have to worry about COVID-ness. You can basically get creative, create whatever you want. And it kind of reminds you of being a kid, right? Just going out on the back hill. So
yeah,
I think that should kill it. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a fun show to do. And the other one, of course, I mean, we see kind of like the interest in splitboarding rising, just with people, with the uncertainty, right, in the marketplace. So I think splitboarding is always a way that you can get out there and really, you know, access the backcountry powder, et cetera, regardless of what happens with resorts or reservations. Trying to reserve powder days 7 days in advance and having a crystal ball for that is kind of you know, guesswork maybe at the best. So anyhow, the Splitboard project is going to be co-hosted by Will Ritter. Will Ritter started Spark R&D, one of the real pioneers of splitboarding as far as, like, before Spark bindings came to market, you were riding pucks on the volet system, and it was kind of wonky and kind of difficult. And I would say that really Spark R&D really kind of brought the splitboarding equipment to another level. You know, so I think that'll be an interesting show and try to educate people, but also take people who have already been doing this for a while and really kind of give them more inspiration and ideas of how they can, you know, make the most out of splitboarding.
Yeah, I mean, Will's another Minnesotan too. You got another Minnesotan on there. I grew up like 10 minutes from him. Even we're the same age. I never actually even knew him growing up, but he moved to Montana and I moved to Colorado. But I think the Splitboard podcast will be great because that's kind of with resorts just blowing out everywhere we go besides the mom and pop resorts. It's going to be on the net, you know, not just splitboarding, but just people hiking out in the backcountry and getting his perspective on it. He's been around since the beginning of making splitboard binding. Well, not the beginning of making splitboard bindings, but making functional and, you know, industry standard splitboard bindings anyways. He's on the forefront of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that one. And I think people will learn a lot. And Bjorn, I mean, it's like you've seen splitboarding pretty much, like it's growing pretty rapidly, wouldn't you say? Is there a lot more interest this year, would you say, than the past?
Yeah, I mean, especially, you know, like last March in Utah when the resorts shut down, which was kind of a treat because we got to go and splitboard all the time, like most of April. People started shaming us, but we still kept going. But, I mean, you're definitely see the uptick in people out there. It's just a known thing. Like I'm, you know, connected with Utah Avalanche Center here, and you know Trent, one of their lead forecasters, he's a splitboarder and he skis as well, and he's just like kind of has a little bit of an air of concern. Those guys are working double time to, you know, get their programs in place to try to educate more people and try to make sure it's as safe as it can be out there this winter. Right. I think Chad's right. It's not just going to be splitboarders. There's going to be people hiking off the side country and just a lot more traffic in general. So it'll be cool to listen to the perspective from someone like Will, who's been in the game, just evolving stuff for many seasons. And yeah, look forward to that.
Yep, and the final thing we're working on is live streaming, which is actually like a way to interact with people live. And so, like, kind of our first product for that is called Watch Party. It allows us to basically show videos and then bring on guests like you guys are with the creators of the movies. And then we do kind of a Mystery Science Theater 3000, kind of explaining the backstories kind of behind some of the clips that may stand out in your memory, but you really had no access to kind of the stories behind them. So I think so far we've done a couple of those as we were testing out and dialing in our gear. And those first ones showed so much promise as far as just hearing stories I've never heard before, despite being involved as long as I have, that I'm really excited to see where that one goes. So that's kind of the news from the Snowboard Project, if you will. But now I think we should just go right on to our new segment. We have something new here for you guys. This is going to be called the Clip Show. And so this is where we get to look at Instagram clips, the things that stick out during the past week, and so anyhow, I brought in some clips, and I wanted to hear your guys' commentary on it. So without further ado, let's go into our first clip, shall we?
Yeah.
So this is Kevin Backstrom, and oh man, just slashing that lip. It's amazing. He goes into that nose and just slashes across that cornice. Pretty cool.
Yeah, big old late style.
Yeah, that just makes me want to go snowboarding.
He's got a way of making, you know, easy things look really, really fun. You want to emulate it, and you're like, whoa, good style, buddy.
Yeah, I feel like Kevin Backstrom is like a mini shred free rider. but he can go big or small. But it's definitely always kind of a mountainous freeridish mini shred, kind of like that. But for me to think about doing a nose blunt layback like that would be, to be able to do that's pretty awesome, and then pop back in.
Yeah, pretty amazing clip. And so this next clip is Olivier Gittler, and so this is kind of like a resort. It's the backside 3, but it's kind of like just the angle is cool, and it's just like resort powder, and it just reminds me of going out and having fun snowboarding.
Yeah, that looks like you're just out with your homies, you're cruising around, popping off the cat. I mean, that's like a snowbird thing right there. That's what I think of instantly. It's just having fun with the boys. Cool little angle.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I see a back 3 in POW, I think Guillaume said, he's like, back 3, the best powder trick ever. Whatever in his French accent. His back 3s into POW are like, one of the better feeling tricks you can do. Just free riding back 3.
Yep. And once again, if
here we
you're
go.
listening to this, you can watch this on YouTube. You can watch the clip show on YouTube. It's part of this Real Talk. So go check that out. So this is Tommy Gesney right here.
Minnesota represent, backtail, and just pushing it hard through that kink. For those who are not watching this, he's back lipping or back tailing over a ledge through a double kink and just making it look like skateboarding. Love it.
Yeah, that looks dangerous to me, but he makes it look good.
Okay, we'll go on to the
He's
next
really
one.
he's one of the kings of the back lips.
So this is a Suspect sketch, and this guy stands out to me, and like this isn't like gnarly, but it looks so fun. It's just like it's kind of mini shred, puts his own style on it, but Suspect sketch is a guy to watch.
Dude, that's board control right there. I love seeing this sort of stuff.
Yeah, true mini shred artist. The little back nose blunt 270 to hiney rail to pop over.
Yep.
That map places of all time.
Yep. So next up we have Cas Lemons. He's from the Netherlands. So this is kind of interesting. What do you think about this one, Chad?
He's edgy. It's a creeper, edgy creeper.
He's kind of like Michael Jackson in that way.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is
MJ?
almost like an MJ.
exactly.
That's a sick clip, though. I saw that earlier this week on the gram myself, and I was like, wow, that's impressive. I kind of, it's creative.
Yeah, I haven't
Pretty
seen
amazing
that before.
snowboard park, whatever he's riding there.
Yeah. Okay, next clip we got Ike Helgason. Bjorn, you used to ride with Ike all the time, right?
We spent a couple of trips together with the Rome days, and he was always an innovator, that's for sure. Like what he's trying to do right here, I think he's trying to hang upside down and maybe slide upside down, like AKA one of the 4Gs over there. Meyer.
He needed sky hooks on his board. That was Brent's problem when he tried to do it back in the day. You need to put hooks on your nose and tail so it hangs on. But still amazing attempt.
So this is probably my favorite clip.
Slide over.
This is my favorite clip. This is Ave Perry from Golden BC, Golden Rider BC, and look at this double bubble. GoPro angle, double bubble cliff.
That does it for
Real
me
confidence
right there.
going into that first one.
Right? Jumping out on that pillar. Abe's he's a crusher from up in Golden, man. He's just always out seeking out the backcountry and having so much fun, dude. He's been around him a couple times and good attitude.
Okay, next up we got Kazu, and check out this. It's just like a nose roll once again, not gnarly, but just looks fun to me. It just is like something that, like, man, this makes me want to go snowboarding right now.
Yeah.
Backside 3 nose roll.
Back nose blunt.
Yeah.
It's like bringing it out of the pipe into the backcountry. You can just see his tranny skills, and I mean, right there, that just makes me want to go try that. Looks so fun.
Yeah, so that just is like fun clip right there. And so this is the last one. Switch backside. What would you call that? Switch backside 14,
Switch back
16?
16.
Triple.
Triple mute. Or switch back triple to forward. Or, yeah.
They should start saying stuff like that to forward, back to regs.
Yeah, I call it back triple to fakie. That's a back 16 triple. But they don't accept that when you're trick calling.
But
You're not allowed
is
to
that
make it up.
switch? I feel like
that
it's
switchback triple.
wait, yeah, it comes out of
which
it.
is crazy
Yeah.
now because that trick, I mean, just the progression of park jumps these days is insane. Like, this kid, there's probably 10 kids doing this trick now, and that trick
Right.
was anything 3 years ago. Stuff like
X
that.
Games Gold, Big Air, right there, like
Yeah.
years ago.
That
too.
kid Dusty Hendrickson at the U.S. Open this last year. Too bad there's not going to be a good U.S. Open because he just basically shut everybody down, like on the last jump, with like a T-shirt on. Like,
Yeah.
the park jumping and spinning is next level these days. It always has been, but just gets more and more every year.
So this clip I just put up for you, Chad. I know you're a dog person. So, yeah.
I got a dog back there.
Yeah, you see, you got dogs in both shots.
Stuck with him, What do you do? I can't let him go. So,
That's what's up with the herd of them, though? I mean, what would they get like
yeah.
pulling
I
a
have
dog
no
sled?
idea.
Or
I
what's
just
going
saw
on with
that.
this
It was,
clip?
Amazing, right? Just like there's literally like 30 Saint Bernard dogs.
So I've never seen it.
Random 25 dogs walking around.
Yeah, would it be a pack? I guess it'd be a pack of dogs.
Yeah, I don't know where they
Somebody's got
came from.
issues with dogs.
Yeah, no doubt. So
Their issue's not as bad as my issue. I only have 2, and they're just kind of left over.
So anyhow, that concludes our clip show for this week, and I think we can get better with that, but I would say that this is kind of like showing what will come with Real Talk and the Snowboard Project. We have a lot of exciting stuff. Not a ton of news right now, but we're certainly going to try to empower you to go snowboarding as much as possible this season, make the most of it. So I think that is really what we're looking forward to for this season as far as like Real Talk goes. And do you have any closing words, Chad? Anything you want to sign off with?
Thanks for having me. Hopefully it snows in 2 weeks. Be on the lookout for the 4G network getting first chair here in Colorado. We might make a CNN, NBC, and CBS. We usually make the main networks and kind of blow up for the couple days there, and just live up the fame and soak it up for a couple days. So it's kind of what we got going on, and thanks for having me, and we will see you in the next one, I guess.
All right, how about you, Bjorn?
Yeah, guys, always good to see you. Thanks for having me on the show. And let it snow, let COVID dissipate, and where do we go from here, man? We'll see you on the next one.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for being on our first season of Real Talk. Thank you, Dustin, for being on the ones and twos, virtual ones and twos, I guess.
Hey, no problem. That was a great show today, guys. You guys killed it. I'm super impressed by everyone.
Right on. Hey, guys, thank you for tuning in to our first video edition of Real Talk. More to come from the Snowboard Project. Man, I hope I get some sleep this season.
Yeah, it's going to go off.